BlackByte 2.0 ransomware, infiltrate, encrypt, and extort in just 5 days. Ransomware attacks are a major problem for organizations everywhere, and the severity of this problem continues to intensify. Recently, Microsoft's incident response team investigated the BlackByte 2.0 ransomware attacks and exposed these cyber strikes' terrifying velocity and damaging nature.
Okay.
The findings indicate that hackers can complete the entire attack process, from gaining initial access to causing significant damage, in just 5 days.
I really don't think this is like that uncommon though. Like 5 days, like honestly, dude, I feel like probably there are some groups that do it in less time, right? Like, I mean, as we've seen before, as soon as people are dropping lockers, right? As soon as people are dropping lockers, they're also dropping the ransom note. So like, I don't really, like, I wanted to see what this is because, like, I want to know why this is significant. I feel like Lockbit and Royal and BlackByte, and, like, I feel like they're probably doing this just as quickly, right? Like, am I wrong here? Am I wrong here? Is there anyone here who's, like, actually just, like, a ransomware nerd?
They waste no time infiltrating systems, encrypting important data, and demanding a ransom to release it.
This always happens fast.
This shortened timeline poses a significant challenge for organizations trying to protect themselves against these harmful operations. BlackByte ransomware is used in the final stage of the attack, using an 8-digit number key to encrypt the data. To carry out these attacks, hackers use a powerful combination of tools and techniques. The investigation revealed that they take advantage of unpatched Microsoft Exchange servers, an approach that has proven highly successful.
So, Disagio, like, sometimes people just go loud, right? They'll go loud and they'll, like, so they're saying Exchange servers, right? So it used, like, there was somebody who's using Zoho, right? There were, like, some Chinese actors that were using Zoho to do, like, a web engine exploit. You can see a lot of examples on Twitter, too. But, because we talk about ransomware a lot. But basically, yeah, like, sometimes people will do months and months of scanning. Yeah, like 3 months. But they're saying 5 days. But this seems like a fully automated thing, right? So, like, basically what somebody would do is they'd use something like Shodan, right? Like, to basically index on the internet. Like, okay, all of these computers have port XYZ open. XYZ is Zoho management engine. Zoho management engine versions this through this have this RCE in it. Okay, so I'm going to basically try and have this arbitrary code execution, unauthorized code execution, bypass, off bypass. It was off bypass in the Zoho management engine, so let's stick with that one. It was off bypass. So they'll be like, okay, these versions have off bypass in them. So basically, after they get in there, right, and they get admin access, then, Bob's your uncle, of course, right? You can, that, for those who don't know, it's a way of saying, like, you're in there like swimwear, my dude. Like, you're just fucking, you're king, you're root, right? You can do whatever you want. You can pull over your tools from the other side, right? You can set up a transfer SH tunnel to exfiltrate files. You can do whatever you want at that point. Live off, just using live off the land tools, right? So basically, some people will cast a really wide net, Disagio. They'll target, like, every single vulnerable deployment of this, and then, yeah, other people will probably do further recon and try to make sure that they have a higher, success outcome by, like, being a little more deliberate and a little more, like, silent. But if you're the loud and proud group, then it doesn't really matter. You just go bam. You just go bam. If you're the loud and proud group and you're just, like, you're going for as many as possible and you really don't give a shit and you're just going hard and fast, and you just go for it, right? So, yeah, not all the time. I would say don't only take months to scan systems before striking. I can't really say yes and no because it's both, right? Like, it's both. Side point. Zoho, different adversaries use different tactics. Side point. Zoho was made in my hometown. That's cool.
The investigation revealed that they take advantage of unpatched Microsoft Exchange servers, an approach that has proven highly successful.
Definitely. Very prolific.
By exploiting this vulnerability, they gain initial access to the target networks and set the stage for their malicious activities.
Yeah, you got a foothold and it's trusted within the environment. Incredible. Perfect.
The ransomware further employs process hollowing and antivirus evasion strategies to guarantee successful encryption and circumvent detection. Furthermore, web shells equip them with remote access and control, enabling them to maintain a presence within the compromised systems.
Okay, let's check this out. This is the proxy shell vulnerability, like we were talking about log4 shell vulnerability, right? And then we were talking about proxy shell not shortly after, but this seems like it's a pretty fucking terrible vulnerability. I think this is basically just a way to go through Exchange server to get a shell. Oh, they had a target, didn't know hackers were woke. Yo, actually, yo. Where else are they gonna buy their rainbow flags? So this is actually a Exchange server vulnerability proxy shell. So they exploit that privilege escalation, bam, persistence, right? Create registry keys, basically deploy a backdoor, collects and sends information to a C2 channel. That means command and control. Leverage Cobalt Strike beacon for persistence and C2 communication. Leverage the AnyDesk remote admin tool. Live off the land, great. For persistence and lateral movement. If they already have this, it's going to look benign. Otherwise, yeah, bring over like a small exe and maybe they won't catch it. Maybe they won't catch it. Some places just definitely won't catch it. And also, if you can disable any telemetry, right, any telemetry gathering on the system, or if you can silently just like spoof it and make it seem like everything's normal and just like, basically just fake logs, that's pretty dope too. Like people have done shit like that, right? Like obviously we've talked about instances like that many times. All right, let's continue. Reconnaissance. I feel like I'm sorry. I know you guys like when I rabbit hole, but I'm trying not to rabbit hole too hard because I do that a lot. NetScan and EdFind are used for reconnaissance and network enumeration. Okay, makes sense. AD, Active Directory on Windows. Okay, so they're trying to learn more about the Active Directory domain, right? The landscape of it. And that's going to give them some sort of idea of like what the sort of resources that they can move into. Additional privileged account credentials are stolen, likely using Mimikatz. Okay, Mimikatz is very, very well known actually. I think you can just buy it for like less than $200. It's basically, I think actually it's open source. It's actually open source. Yeah, it's open source. Sorry, I'm thinking of something else. Sorry, I was thinking of like some keylogger that is sold on dark web marketplaces, and now I can't remember the name of it. It's like a keylogger and an injector. Fuck. It doesn't matter. Who cares? So basically, it extracts passwords. Mimikatz extracts passwords from Kubernetes. I'm pretty sure. It's open source. So you can just download it from GitHub right now. Okay, so additional credentials are stolen, right? They're using that. And, the way that Kerberos works on Windows... Sorry, did I say Kubernetes? I meant Kerberos. The way that Kerberos works on Windows is like there's a ticket-granting ticket server. And if you can get what the gold... We're going to keep it simple. If you can get the golden ticket, you're fucking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You won. You have the lay of the land. The whole factory is yours. You know what I mean? Like, you're basically going to be able to see all the authentication stuff going out, and you're going to be able to act as an administrator. You're going to be able to authenticate to, like, most services. And it's cool. It's pretty cool. If I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but yeah, it's like pass the hash and pass the ticket from Kerberos. So you could build golden tickets. And the golden ticket gets you, like, everything. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Anyone who's a nerd, fellow nerds, help me out. Or am I right? Am I right? I think I'm right. So, compromised domain admin credentials are used with RDP and PowerShell remoting to access domain controllers and... Okay, so access domain controllers, that's like Windows Active Directory stuff, and other environment servers, so they're able to, basically go through the services that are deployed on the network, and you could modify them. Yeah, you could totally modify them. Whatever they're hosting, right? If they're using ISS, the Windows hosting shit. Yeah, like, dude, honestly, I hate IIS. Is it IIS or ISS? I remember doing it all the time in the lab, like in the fucking computer lab. Yeah, IIS, Internet Information Service from Microsoft. It's like basically a little like a web hosting platform. So you could host your little web servers on your like Windows environment, and I fucking hated it. It was just like Windows. The thing I hate about Windows, man, is like you gotta click here and there and there and there and there. I'd rather just type in a bunch of shit. I'd rather just be in a terminal and like not click here and click there and then start typing shit and then click here and then click there, and it's like you gotta click through so much shit to like do anything. I feel like every time I click another thing on Windows, like next, and then I click a couple checkboxes and I hit next, I feel like I die a little inside, just give me a fucking terminal, dog, just give me a fucking shell. So XByte collects and exfiltrates files from the target network, and BlackByte2.0 ransomware deployed encrypting devices across the network, across the environment. So they basically exfiltrate anything, exfiltrate all the files. They have domain control. This is really nice, man. This is establishing basically they're thoroughly fucking the victim. This is from start to finish extremely thorough. This is extremely thorough. Jesus. I mean, this is nasty, dude. This is really nasty. But I mean, I'm impressed. I'm impressed, man. This is a really, really nasty piece of work. Okay, let's keep going. This is a really nasty piece of work.
The report also highlighted the deployment of Cobalt strike beacons, which facilitate command and control operations. These sophisticated tools give attackers a wide range of skills, making it more difficult for organizations to defend against them. Upcoming webinar. Privileged access management. Alongside these tactics, the investigation uncovered several other troubling practices cybercriminals use. They utilize living off the land tools to blend in with legitimate processes and escape detection. The ransomware modifies volume shadow copies on infected machines to prevent data recovery through system restore points. The attackers also deploy specially crafted backdoors, ensuring continued access for the attackers even after the initial compromise.
Yeah. Very
the disturbing upsurge in ransomware attacks requires immediate action from organizations worldwide. In response to these findings, Microsoft has provided some practical recommendations. Organizations are primarily urged to implement robust patch management procedures,
Same old shit we hear every
ensuring
time,
they
'cause
timely
nobody does
apply
it.
critical security updates.
Nobody does it.
Enabling tamper protection is another essential step, as it strengthens security solutions against malicious attempts to disable or bypass them.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if somebody can disable your security systems after an initial point of compromise, right after they get a foothold on the network, like, obviously, it's like if your security system is mute, right? So, all right, give me a sec. I want to close my window. I think this is funny. Man. This is so advanced. It just goes to show, man. It just goes to show. When there's a will, there's a way. When there's a will, there's a way. I love seeing Exchange server hacks because it's one of the most prolific pieces of software in like enterprises. You know, like Exchange, Outlook, right? It's extremely prolific. So I just think it's cool. You know what I mean? I think it's fucking cool. All right, I'm gonna close my window. I'm cold.